Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk. It's the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Just ahead, we talk to Mr. Dale Hulquest, elite glass and trim and drag racer extraordinaire. We'll have This Week in Auto History and get you updated on the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zeka.
We do.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday morning. Really appreciate it. And also joining us right now is, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Elite Glass and Trim, Dale Hulquest, and drag racer extraordinaire. Look at you.
Yay.
You're looking good. Hey, you shaved, man.
Yes, sir. I had to clean up. I needed to borrow some money, so I had to clean up for the day.
Did you? Good. Yeah, having to borrow money to get that new race car of yours up to Indianapolis?
No, the new motorhome.
The new motorhome.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
That pulls that car.
I got you. So, well, that's all fine, well and good. How are things?
Did you get the loan?
Everything's good. How about you guys?
Did you get the loan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
I
good.
messed up one more time. Yeah.
So, I don't know where you want to start. We're going to start with the Elite Glass and Trim, or we're going to start with drag racing?
Your show, buddy. I'm ready.
Let's do the Elite Glass and Trim so we can get the business out of the way and then we can do the fun stuff.
Well, I mean, for those that don't know, Dale owns a company called Elite Glass and Trim. Now, you might not be familiar with it because Dale does a lot of business, most of his business, with car dealerships around the city of Houston. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And so Dale contracts with these dealerships. So if you take your car into the car dealership,
right,
name one, whatever it is,
whoever, yeah,
and you need to have the windshield replaced, they don't do that. They call Dale and he sends his crew over there and they do that.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so let's let everybody understand that there are, 3 different types of glass, Dale?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's aftermarket glass. There's what we refer to as L brand, which is made by the original manufacturer, but is not branded with the original manufacturer's logo. And then there's OEM, which has the original brand logo for the whatever manufacturer it is.
So is this a good, better, best scenario?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I would say that the better and the best, there's really no difference between the two other than the little stamp on the glass, right?
Correct, Don. The glass is all DOT approved, so it's all the same thickness. It all breaks the same. But where we run into issues in the last 3 to 5 years is with all the technology that has been attached to the windshield, the lane departure, the crash avoidance, the rain sensor, the humidity sensor, the auto pedestrian crossing, the light, the dimming of the lights, and all that is actually programmed into and or the brackets for those cameras and for those sensors is permanently attached to the glass. And sometimes we've experienced with the aftermarket glass, it doesn't seem to read the information it receives from the ECM quite as well. So we always recommend the L brand and or the OEM when you have a car that has a lot of options.
But for my 2001 Corvette, I could go with the cheapest thing because it doesn't have anything attached to the windshield except for the rear view mirror.
Absolutely correct. And rocks don't differentiate between OEM and or aftermarket. They all break the same.
I had a Cadillac, one of my Cadillacs previous to the one I have now, where we had the windshield replaced, and they came out to the house, a name brand company, and they cut the glass out, replaced the windshield, but when they did, they messed up the headliner and they cut all of that informational sensors up in that windshield area.
Ooh.
And I was heading to the airport to take a flight that afternoon, and I had to get a rental car. It was a mess. It took several weeks to get the headliner in and get it all replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't do that kind of work.
No. This is many years ago. Yeah.
He does top-notch work over there. Well, the other thing, too, I wanted to mention is the fact that you guys have a great trim department. Trim meaning the interior of cars. And in particular, your sunroof guy. And I know that there's been a lot of talk here lately about sunroof guys, and I have to tell you, you got the best one in the business out there.
We really do. James has been with us 21 years.
Wow.
James and Mundo are the two that do the calibrating and and the setting of the clearances on sunroofs, and they do a good job. They really do.
Well, and let me tell you something, and you know as well as I do, dude, that is an art. And you've got to have the patience of Job to be able to mess with that stuff, because all I do is get a hammer and start swinging it.
No.
I was real thankful to get those guys, because I have the same patience you do, Don. Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've got the Elite Glass and Trim stuff, I think, out of the way, we don't have to have it out of the way, but I want to talk about you're getting ready to go to Indianapolis.
Correct. That's what we're doing today. We're installing a new race pack in the Cobalt behind me. The one we have is not communicating with the computer as planned, and so we purchased a new one. We're trying to get it installed this weekend. We've changed the oil and got things ready. They've cut us down one time trial at Indianapolis this year, and originally they shortened the race event to a 4-day event, and now it was previously a 6-day event, and we finished on Monday. Now we don't race on Monday at all. The race is over on Sunday, and so allow for everyone to have a time trial, they've shortened ours. So they shortened us to one time trial and then go into class. Yesterday they changed the schedule and allowed us 2 time trials on Wednesday, and then we go into class, and we have first round Thursday morning. So we're trying to prep the cars now. When we get there, we pull them out of the trailer. They're ready for a time trial, and then for class, we just ice them down and chill the motors and ice the fuel and some other things we do and get them set on kill.
Yeah.
So, in other words, when you pull out of the driveway, when are you leaving? Monday?
No, we will leave actually Saturday morning. Chris and I will leave Saturday morning about 6 o'clock and try to arrive at Indy sometime after lunch on Sunday, because they're stacking us Sunday and parking us Monday. And then we unload and tack Tuesday. We start qualifying Wednesday and racing Thursday morning.
Yeah, because, I mean, it is everybody and his mother wants to go to Indy.
It's a science.
And you can imagine trying to get all of these cars, all of the rigs in there on top of the pros.
Right.
And so it is truly a sight to behold. It's a card game like you've never seen before in your life.
Sharp elbows.
I don't know how they do it, but somehow they manage to do it. So let's talk about the new hauler.
Oh yeah, we love it. We just got it about a month ago.
What is it?
It's an Allegro bus, and it pulls our little box down the road with the toys in it. And our first trip didn't go as planned. We headed to Tulsa and made it to Dallas and had some diesel def issues, and we had to turn around after spending many hours at a Cummins Freightliner place in I guess north of Dallas, somewhere between there and Fort Worth. We came back and it spent about a week in the shop here, but now it's ready to go. We took a little short trip to Austin 2 weeks ago, and trouble-free, code-free, and we believe we're ready to go. What
was wrong with it?
Actually, the depth sensor in the tank and the sending unit was giving incorrect readings, saying that it didn't have any depth fluid, when in fact it was full. Therefore, it wouldn't regenerate or recirculate or whatever they call that with diesels. It wouldn't do it. And it started throwing codes in Ennis. And by the time we got north of Dallas, it had reduced the power to 50%.
Wow.
And our next step was reducing it by 80%, and it wouldn't have pulled the trailer then. So
yeah, you're trying to protect
I had
itself.
to call the Tiffin, and they told us where to go, and we did, and they checked it out and said, yeah, they discovered the problem, but they didn't have the part, and they couldn't get it for a week. And I told them that I needed to be in Tulsa the next day or be back in Houston. And so we turned around and limped back and made a long trip.
I'll bet. You've had a lot of people tell you where to go, haven't you?
Many times. You talking about relationships?
Both.
Just in general.
All of those things. You have to understand that, I have been prepped to this conversation, but last weekend when I was talking to Gary Emmons. So, we've gotten all set up for you, sir. And I know that you're ready for this.
Those are some fine folks. They're in Topeka right now. I talked to them several times yesterday. They got a little cold front in the night before, and the cars were fast yesterday, and I believe they're all having a good time today.
Okay, so let's continue the drag racing thing and tell everybody about the Cobalt. Now, this is a relatively new car for you, isn't it?
It is. The car was built by East Texas Race Cars, I believe, in 2012, somewhere in there. It was built by a gentleman, or built for a gentleman named Ken Howell out of Baytown, Texas. A longtime drag racer, always been a stick guy. When I bought the car, it was set up for a standard transmission. I didn't buy the trans or the motor that he had. He ran a different combination. I had a Grand Am that ran pretty well. I took the engine and trans out of that and sold it, or actually raffled it, and put that drivetrain in this car and had some modifications done by East Texas Race Cars and put it together and had a lot of fun with it so far. Won its first race here last year, I believe, in Dallas. Won the first race with it.
And what category do you race in?
We run in Superstock GT, and the class I run is J. So it's a GT J automatic, and the GT generally certifies that, or designates that it's a front-wheel drive conversion. Cobalts were front-wheel drive cars when they were manufactured by General Motors, and now it's a rear-wheel drive car, and it no longer has a four-cylinder. It has a 305 Chevrolet V8 in it, tune port injected.
Now you never run Stan, do you?
Oh yeah, run him often, and his crew chief Jared. You know, they all run. Again, we all run Superstock, regardless of the class designation. The class itself is Superstock, and so we run each other 3 to 4 times a year.
So it doesn't make any difference about the transmission?
Absolutely not. So it's just the spot. You know, a lot of times I think he's changed cubic inch engines, so now he's running a little slower, so we would spot him. In the past, he was spotting us when he had a larger engine. Yeah.
So you beat him quite often then, because we're going to see him next week.
I eat there a lot. I don't remember.
No, beat him. I said beat him, not eat.
I never remember beating him. Or his lovely wife. Yeah, I don't remember beating either one of them.
Yeah. So where do you stand in points and division points right now?
I don't know how far back last place is, but I'm one step back.
You're just ahead of him.
I couldn't win a time trial this year, Don.
Oh, my God. Well, what has been the problem, Dale?
Most of my problems are between the seat and the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Right in the driver compartment has been my issues lately.
I see. Well, I was going to say it's probably a sort of clutch issue, but you don't have a clutch. It's an automatic.
No, but I'll use that excuse next time.
Do that.
Throw it out there anyway.
They don't have a stopwatch. They got a calendar.
So is it a 2-speed transmission?
No, it's a 3-speed, actually. It's a Pro Trans out of Waco, Texas. Now previously they were out of California, but now Don has moved to Waco, Texas, or Dave, excuse me, has moved to Waco, Texas, is where Pro Trans is. A very nice transmission. Mine's air shifted, but they're bulletproof for the most part. Yeah, good piece.
So you don't have to really mess with that once you got it hooked up to the motor.
Once you put it in gear and hit the button and activate it, the worst thing you can do is stick your hand down there because it really hurts if it hits you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, so tell me a little bit about the motor in this thing now.
It's a 305. It was built by Stephen Bellinger Racing Engines out of Indiana, Elizabethtown, Indiana. He builds a lot of record-setting engines, and Stephen's he's got a really good combination for the 305 cubic inch package that his son runs it. Several people run it that have set records up that way. Not that my car will set a record, but it runs a lot better than we show. I just don't prefer to run it out all the time. And when I need to go fast, I'll take the weight out and ice it down. And we run a restrictor plate most of the time to slow them down, because if we run too fast during a normal race or a qualifying attempt, we get hit with what we call horsepower, which is the equivalent of us having to add weight and slow the car down permanently. And so we try to refrain from getting it hit if we don't have to.
Now, does it have a 4-bolt main in it?
It does. It's a 4-bolt main motor, fuel injected. This one is pretty high tech. It's got Honda rods. They turn the crankshaft down, the journals down to 2-inch pins. They put Honda rods and spacers in them. A large camshaft, 50-something millimeter camshaft. It's an odd fire camshaft. So a lot of times back in the past, they would just swap 4 and 7. Well, on this motor, they swap 4 cylinders. And so it really creates a different tone. They've determined that actually the exhaust signal going out the header draws on the different cylinders that were weak and improves the air fuel mixture going into them because it's drawing a vacuum on it when the valve opens.
So is it kind of like a flat plane crank?
I don't know what that is, Don.
Okay, well, never mind then. The firing order is very different in it, and it sounds different.
It is very different, and they run good. And most of the RPM range on this car, once it leaves the starting line, it pretty much stays above 8,000. So that's where they're trying to make it run good from 8 to 10. They really don't care what happens below that because mechanical gear ratios help us get off the line and help us get to that point.
Yeah, the power curve starts.
So
at 8.
what you do is you adjust the RPM and how you want to leave the line at what RPM, correct?
I leave, yes, sir. I leave it at 8,600. Yes, where I leave. It makes the first shift around 88, and makes the second one about 89, and crosses somewhere around 10,000.
Wow, and all of that happens automatically, and you program that into your computer. Yes, sir. Yeah, the air shifter has MSD chips. You just pull one out and put another one in where you want it to shift, and that's where it'll send a signal from the airbox to the transmission controller, and it'll move the shifter very rapidly. And at that time, quicker than you could shift it if it were a manual car. Yes, sir. Yeah, and when it hits that next gear, I mean, is it hit it hard? It really does, especially the first one now, because usually you're either in the air or you're just coming down. If you time it just right, if it'll shift just when it's starting to land, it comes back up, and it's fun when it pulls the wheels in second gear. It's a lot of fun. But so what kind of rubber are you running on the back end of that thing? It's Hoosiers. They're 31.5s, 13.5s. They're Hoosiers all the way around. They're a great tire company. They give us a little help. But we've been running their tire for a long time. We run a radial tire all the time on this car and on the Camaro that I run in stock eliminator. We run the Hoosier radials. And what kind of air pressure do you normally run about when you leave the line? In the Super Stocker, what do we run, Chrissy, in the air? About 15 pounds in the rear. We always run 30 in the front for test runs, just to kind of see where our lights are. We adjust our reaction time with air pressure when we're close. But yeah, we run, again, 15 pounds in the back of the Cobalt and about 20 pounds in the back of the Camaro. Would you do me a favor? I know that Chris can hear me. So would you get her to stand behind you and put her head down there? We want to see this partner of yours in crime. The
brains behind the operation.
Yeah, absolutely, because you know what? She's a heck of a lot better to look at than you are.
And I want to know what's in that red Solo Cup.
I agree 100%. Y'all don't get dizzy and fall out of your chair. There she is right there.
Good. Thank you so much for doing that, because I knew she was going to hide. I knew that.
And now I need a dinner date, Don, so it's up to me and you.
You and me, baby. Yeah, exactly.
What is in that red Solo Cup you keep drinking there?
Iced tea, I swear to God. Iced tea is in there.
Yeah.
He's still working on the car, so it's still iced tea.
That's it.
A little bit of VP for the car and a little bit of VP for me.
There you go.
Well, you know, it's always fun to talk to you guys, and thank you so much for joining us today. Give Chrissy my love, and y'all take care and have a great time up there in Indianapolis. And you know, one of these days you're going to need some track guy to sweep the pit for you, and I'll be there for you. Well, hey, I appreciate it. We're looking to redeem ourselves. We run it up at Indy a couple of years ago, and we're looking to go back there and redeem ourselves and not go 3,000 red in the final. Oh, Lord. Well, best of luck to you, my friend.
Good luck.
It's great to talk to you.
Be safe.
Love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hope you holler.
All right. Dale Hulquest, elite glass and trim and drag racer extraordinaire.
How fun. He's always fun to talk to.
He is. He's one of the gang, as it were.
Gang. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's do This Week in Auto History, shall we?
Okay.
Because I know that Conrad has prepared for you.
Well, for us. Conrad has prepared for us.
Well, us, but you mainly because you're going to deliver this.
You're representing Conrad.
I'm representing?
You're representing.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to give this back to you, Mike.
Yeah, give it to him and watch it quit working.
Oh, please don't say that.
Okay.
So
what is This Week in Auto History?
Well, we're going to cover some various things. We got 6 things to cover. Are you ready?
Push that K over there.
Oh, push the K.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. There it is. So in 1907, Paris newspaper Le Martin.
La Martine.
Okay, very good. Escargot. Issued a challenge. What needs to be proved today is that as long as a man has a car, he can do anything and go anywhere.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone who will undertake to travel this summer from Peking to Paris by automobile? The editors of the newspaper received an astonishing 40 entries in an Italia, driven by Prince. I'm just going to say the Prince because it's I don't know how to pronounce it. No. The Prince, they had completed.
You have to say it right. It's the Prince.
Okay, yeah, and not the singer. Had completed nearly 10,000-mile journey in 2 months and collected the prize of a bottle of bubbly. There you go.
Oh, God.
And then in 1908, the first Model T is assembled. 15 million were built through 1927. Henry Ford once said, "It will be so low in price that no man making a good salary will be unable to own one and enjoy with his family the blessing of hours of pleasure in God's great open spaces."
Blah, blah, blah.
I brought a tear to my eye. 1937, good year. Auburn Automobile Company closes. Auburn, Cord, Duesenberg had joined together in 1929. And the last vehicle they built was a Cord 812, left the factory, shutting the lights in Auburn Automobile Company. So there you go, in
Auburn,
812, yep. 1938, which is just a year after, Ford Motor Company registered Mercury as a trademark. I always liked the Mercurys. Mercury aimed to bridge the gap between Ford's V8 cars and its luxury lineup from Lincoln. The first Mercurys were released in 1939. It was the year it was an instant hit back in 1939. That's a cool looking car. Get a little street ride out of that. 1965. The Ford Bronco intended to compete against the Jeep CJ5 and International Harvester Scout was introduced on this day, feeding the burgeoning four-wheel drive market. So there's a lot of them going on. The first Broncos were very simple without options such as power steering or automatic transmissions. That's the cool looking one. That's probably $1 million right now. 1966, the first.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
Okay. The 1966, the first production Chevrolet Camaro was born. From the base 230 cubic inch inline six that made 140 horsepower in nearly any engine in Chevy's lineup, all the way to the 396 cubic inch V8 that pumped out 375 horsepower. There were more than 80 factory options available on the coupes, the convertibles, and an additional 40 directly through dealerships, coming in at $2,446 for the 1967 base model. The car sold very well with 220,906 of them. That's pretty. That's nice. There you go. And that's it this week in automotive history.
Yeah,
Thank you, Conrad.
A six-banger in it.
Thank you, buddy.
I love those.
Appreciate it.
Sixes. All right. I want to do a couple of news stories, if I may.
Please do.
Okay.
Help yourself.
Rivian, remember them?
Yes.
They've had all sorts of issues. The EV startup backed by Amazon and Ford Motor Company is in talks to invest at least $5 as in billion dollars near Fort Worth, Texas, according to a document obtained by Bloomberg News. The factory, codenamed Project Terra, according to the document, will be able to produce 200,000 vehicles a year and will create at least 7,500 jobs by 2027. The $5 billion capital investment commitment from Rivian includes a minimum $2 billion in real property improvements and $1.6 billion in hard construction costs. That's a lot of do-re-mi.
That's a lot of billions.
While a number of states and cities are still under consideration, the Texas site has become the front runner for Rivian, according to people familiar with the matter. More car manufacturing coming to Texas, right on.
Ooh.
The company has caught attention with its planned battery electric pickup and SUV and a deal to build Amazon 100,000 electric delivery vans by the end of the decade. Stellantis executives have outlined how they plan to shake up the market for large electric models as they provide more detail of a radical EV strategy across 14 brands. This is big. So-called STLA large platform will be used for vehicles ranging in length from 15 to 17 feet and widths from 6 to 7.5 feet. Don't you find that interesting that they're basing this on size? Of course, we base a lot of things on size, but this is for a car.
Okay.
The platform will produce 8 vehicles coming within the next 3 to 5 years, including a long-range luxury sedan. Listen to this, Mars.
Yes, I
An
am.
all-conquering muscle car, a heart-of-the-market SUV, a very capable Jeep, off-roading white space vehicle, as well as a mid-sized truck, according to Ralph Shields.
See, I find that really interesting because they're not getting away from where they're at now. They've got muscle cars now. They've got off-road cars, and they're hanging on to that. It'll be interesting to see how well that plays out.
Well, all I can tell you is they ain't sitting still.
Oh, no.
You don't hear a lot about them, about what they're doing for a reason. Where the other car makers are going, well, we got all this coming, and it's going to be really good. Yeah, well, you just wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't make this company called Stellantis just for a name change.
Less is more.
Volkswagen has issued a stop sale on the all-wheel drive versions of its new Taos compact crossover, telling dealers this week to halt sales of the models because an issue may cause the vehicle to shut off while in use.
That could be a problem.
Yeah.
VW launched the 2022 Taos in the second quarter and sold about 5,000 in the first months on the dealer lots. The Taos is one of 2 VW compact crossovers, along with the Tiguan brand's highest selling vehicle in the U.S., and starts at a lower price with less standard equipment. By the way, again, this week, I think every Mercedes-Benz known to man from the 2021 model year is under recall. Seatbelt locking retractor malfunction, fuel tank not welded properly, and the list goes on and on. You own a Mercedes-Benz, a late model, go to safercar.gov, type in your VIN number, and they will tell you what it's being recalled for this time. And BMW fans, you're not by yourselves over here on the Mercedes-Benz size. BMW 20 to 21 models, bunch of them, loss of brake assist. Well, there you go. You can plow right through the back of the garage with that.
Well, the shop, pull through the drive.
Yeah. So at any rate, we're going to take a quick break now. And then when we come back, we're going to close out today's show. And don't forget, next week, it's going to be Tailpipes and Tacos.
Yep.
We'll be there, and we hope that you will be too. Back after this quick break.
When you're ready to shop Chevrolet, we know one that should be at the top of your list. Bayway. Locally owned by Houston-born and raised Daryl Wisniewski, Bayway brings a sense of family to your Chevrolet buying experience. When you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, you now have a place to go. General Manager Lincoln Stahl guarantees Bayway will beat any competitor's written price on the new vehicle you choose or pay you $1,000. Bayway Chevrolet is located only 8 minutes from the Beltway and Highway 288. Whether it's online or in person, you'll be welcomed like one of the family. BaywayChevrolet.com. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly car cruise-in, returns Saturday, August 21st at 2 Loopy Tortilla Mexican restaurants in Katy and inside the Loop on the Southwest Freeway near Kirby. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods at 2 locations. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event at the Loopy Tortilla Mexican restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard just south of I-10 in Katy, and inside the Loop on the Southwest Freeway near Kirby. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Loopy founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in. Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy's inside the Loop on the Southwest Freeway in Kirby, and in Katy on the Grand Parkway just south of I-10, where you'll see the In Real Time Car Show. Get your ride ready and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in at Loopy's in Katy and Kirby, August 21st, 8 to 11 a.m., weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The In Real Time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com.
Well, guess what?
What?
That's a wrap for another episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show.
I'm not leaving.
Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central Time. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast outlets 7 days a week. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More Jeff
We
Zekin.
need more, Jeff.
For booking agent and podcast man Mike out of This World Mars.
Great job.
His royalty king Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. If you missed any of our Saturday live broadcasts, catch the 30-minute podcast segments that are updated daily on your favorite podcast audio and video streaming platforms. Next Saturday, join us as we broadcast live from the Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise in at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurant in Katy on 99, the Grand Parkway in Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Today's show was produced by The Hot Potato.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. Stay safe and cool like you know you are.